Welcome back, everybody. Our first guest tonight is an Oscar-winning, Emmy and Tony-nominated actress you know from films like The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Zero Dark 30, Interstellar, and The Help. She stars in the Apple TV Plus series The Savant, which premieres its first 2 episodes September 26th. Please welcome back to the show, Jessica Chastain.
To be here. I mean, we were talking about it. I've been on the show a lot via Zoom.
Via Zoom, yeah, during the dark days, and now here we are. Look, things are so good now. But it's a lot better having you here in person. Yeah. And you're a very busy person, and obviously we want to talk about your projects. Okay. But you're also, I'm very impressed. Jessica went back to school, everybody.
I know, I'm like Rodney Dangerfield.
You're like Randy. You're our generation's Rodney Dangerfield. That hadn't even occurred to me.
My face and then back to school.
But you're going, you're at Harvard, you're at the Kennedy School, and what are you getting your master's in?
Public administration.
So that's amazing. So what made you take this leap?
I know, it's crazy town. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, and for so much of my life, I just thought, you know, it's the cycle of your family. I thought I wasn't very smart, and I didn't think school was for me, and I just love it. So as I've gotten older, I went to Juilliard. I have an honorary doctorate.
Wow,
also.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I can heal you with my talent.
Be honest, if you were on an airplane and they said, is there a doctor here, would you?
I'd be like, I can do a monologue.
Ma'am, sit down. How do you like school?
I love it. I love it. There's people from all over the world in this program. And, you know, there's a lot of, like, future politicians. There's a lot of politicians for their countries there right now. I'm not there to be a politician. I'm there to fight politicians.
Yeah, that's a very good thing to do. But can I ask? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I would imagine, you know, there seems to be a great amount of diversity. I would imagine you're the only Oscar winner in class.
I think so, actually.
Yeah,
yes,
so what's it like for them?
I mean, at the very first day, there was like some selfies and stuff. It was sweet, but no one kind of said anything. No one made a big deal out of it. There were some fun moments, like I was in a quant class, and my partner, she's so sweet. She was from India, and we were talking, and it was like the second week of school, and she said, you know, I've been told you're an actress. I know you're a very important actress. I was like, well, thanks. And she goes, you know, have you been in something I might have seen? And I go, well, do you like science fiction? She said, yes. I said, I was in a movie called Interstellar.
Yeah, of course.
And she looked at me and she goes, that's my favorite movie. I was like, well.
She's like, I didn't watch all of it, but it's my favorite. I gotta go back.
Or it means it's like in person, very unimpressive.
Or you just disappear into the part. Like that's there you go.
I like that better.
You mentioned you were the first one in your family who went to college. Yes. Are they just all blown away now that you just are like keep pushing it and going?
They're probably so annoyed with me.
Yeah,
They're like, what is she doing now?
They're like
siblings.
You impressed us with the one diploma. Jessica.
Jessica, you went to school. Now you have a star. I have a star in Hollywood.
I know. I want to talk about this.
What?
Now you did. Is it true that you had to go to your star ceremony and you had to miss class?
That was the first day of fall semester. So I have taken a pause. I've deferred my fall semester.
Okay.
Because I've got to be here and I got to be there.
Gotta go get your star. Look at that. That's fantastic.
Look at that.
Was it great? Was the ceremony great?
It was great. I mean, it was great in a way I didn't expect. Viola Davis spoke there.
Wonderful.
And Al Pacino.
Wow.
I know, those were my speakers.
Those are really good speakers.
I was like, am I dead?
That's really good. But I want to say, and I mean this sincerely, I think it's great when you have heroes speak on your behalf. But this photo I thought was even cooler. You had old friends come and show up wearing I Love Jessica Chastain t-shirts.
So these are my friends I've known since before any of my movies came out.
Yeah.
And I showed up on the day and they were all wearing I Heart Jessica Chastain t-shirts.
It's so great.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they're wearing I Heart Bryce Dallas Howard? That would be better, actually. That would have been.
And then when you came up, they were so disappointed.
Like, oh.
And then they just sort of loudly shuffled out. Can I tell you something my oldest friends did, which was similar and way more the Bryce Dallas Howard version. They were all in New York, and I made a reservation at like a nice New York restaurant, and I got there first, I didn't realize they had done this on purpose, and they staggered it, and one by one they came in wearing giant I Love New York t-shirts, and would go, Seth! and just wave across and it would just look like I was having dinner with like 10 of the worst tourists.
Like they won a contest.
Like a really fancy dinner, and they were like, "Hey, there he is!" And I was like, "Oh,
that's good.
Skin crawling."
That's
but I
good.
had to appreciate.
Yeah.
Good buddies. When you get a good buddy, it's really great. How do you like? So I feel a little. One of the first times, or the last time I saw you was Watch What Happens Live, and there was something
I know.
I was a little
Housewives.
embarrassed by because I was like, "Where do you live?" And you're hardcore. You're a New Yorker.
Oh, I'm a New Yorker.
And you will not leave. Because there are very few of us.
No, they will have to drag me kicking and screaming from the city.
That's
fantastic. I mean, so much. I'm such a New Yorker that it's actually funny. 3 days later, a classmate from our cohorts from school posted sent me a picture to the entire group of a Red Sox hat on my star.
They went and put a Red Sox hat on your star?
They went to my star and they put a Red Sox hat.
That's shameful.
I
and
know.
you're such a New Yorker.
They did it on purpose.
Was it when you were at Juilliard where you were like, this is my home and it's going to be my home forever?
Yeah, I realized, I don't know, New York's the first place I ever saw a foreign film.
Yeah.
It's the live theater. What I love I think there's like 60 different languages spoken in New York City.
Yeah.
I take the subway everywhere. I love the subway because I hate traffic and I like to get places on my own schedule, my own time. I love the people of New York. I was here for September 11th when it happened. I was here during COVID. There's nobody better than New York neighbors. And I love people from all over the world, don't get me wrong. But New Yorkers are my people.
Yeah, well, I agree with you 100%. I want to ask about your great new show. Will you stick around, please?
Yes, please.
All right, you guys, this is Jessica Chastain. We'll be right back.
Aaron Miller, AKA I am not a ferret.
I beg to differ, Aaron.
Danny, don't be inappropriate. That's more of a weasel, stray dog energy he's giving.
All right, I've been watching him on the message boards for a year and a half. Guy's a tumbleweed, moves around a lot, loves baseball, hates black and Jewish people. My sock puppet started talking to me more directly when he said he was getting rid of all of his But all of a sudden, he's on the verge of serious violence.
How do you know that for sure?
That's why we call her the savant.
Don't call me that.
Okay, people, who else is keeping you up at night?
We're back with Jessica Chastain, everybody. That was a clip from The Savant. This is based on an article from 2019 about a real person who sort of monitored online chat rooms trying to stop violent acts. Obviously, incredibly prescient today, but I guess has been for a while.
Yeah, I think the title of the article is it possible to stop a mass shooting before it happens?
Right.
And I didn't realize that there's a group of people out there who infiltrate hate groups online and work with the FBI and let the police know when something dangerous is about to happen. And so they keep us safe. Just when you think, like, when we hear about something, it's too late.
Yeah.
But how many have we been kept safe from? So
That's a good
she's
way.
amazing.
And this is a real person, and you talk to them, but their identity cannot be known.
Cannot be known because she still does the work that we do that she does in the series, but it's based on her story. It's not exactly her story. So like for example, when I spoke to her, she had an interesting way of speaking, and of course, like for an actor, you go, "Oh, I love it! Listen to that vowel," or whatever it was, something so nerdy. And then I realized, oh, I can't do it because I can't do anything that identifies her. She could get doxxed, her children, her family could be in danger. So it was mostly the interior life of what she experienced doing that job.
But it's interesting because in the first episode as well, you see that like how a character like this has to be cagey about what they do with both their friends and their family. So it is an interesting part of it that I think we also don't think about much when you think about people who are in these worlds.
In our series, because it's based on this woman, it's not the exact woman from the article, but she's a wife from Ohio. She's a veteran. And she catfishes men online, where she pretends to be something she's not in order to gain their trust.
I want to ask you, obviously, Zero Dark 30, classic movie about finding a bad guy.
Oh, the big bad guy.
The big bad guy.
Yeah.
Doing some finding in this. You're in a new movie called Heartland, where you're looking for your niece.
Yes.
Are you good at finding in real life?
I have an Oscar for a reason. I'm better at acting.
Better at acting. Yeah. That's right. You come to think of it.
I found Jesus in Tammy Faye.
In Tammy Faye, you found Jesus. That's right. You know, you've also played a couple Tammys. You're like good at
Yes.
finding.
Yes.
You're good at Tammys.
I'm not good at finding in real life.
Real life.
I
You're
lose my
a great
keys all the
movie
time.
finding. And that's like people say when they meet you. They're like, she's really nice, but she's so bad at finding. They're like, what was she like in person? It was like a little disappointing because I had lost my purse and she was
She
useless.
couldn't find it.
She was absolutely
No.
useless. George and Tammy, I was
Yes.
referencing that as well with Michael Shannon. You guys played George Jones and Tammy Wynette.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It's just a wonderful miniseries about two iconic country singers. When Michael was here, he was talking about how you guys had to sing a cappella while you were making the show because,
Yes.
you know, they had to put in the tracks later and how, you know, again, like obviously you have very good voices, but like a cappella in front of an
But
entire
we're
crew.
acting like we have good voices.
Yeah, again.
We're not really professional
We're learning
singers.
a lot about acting. What was it as intense as he made it out to be?
Super intense. It'd be like me showing up right now and there's, you know, a group of people here. Imagine you're all extras. And then I have a little earwig in my ear that's playing the music. And now I'm gonna sing Stand By Your Man
Yeah, not an easy one.
and belt for you, but you don't hear the music. You just hear my cold, raw voice. So it was quite stressful.
yeah. You know, it's interesting, you know, you talked about how obviously, you know, with Savant, you can't borrow anything from the person you're dealing
Yes.
with. When you're playing, you know, Tammy Faye Baker or when you're playing Tammy Wynette, or
Molly
people
Bloom.
not, yep, there you go, anybody. But like,
Yeah.
is it catnip when you get to like actually spend time with these people or watch old tape with these people and realize like, oh, I get to borrow all of this?
It's heaven. I mean, when I was playing Tammy Wynette, the costume designer, Mitchell, would show up and he'd be like, I have an outfit that Tammy wore on this show. And I'm like, give it to me. No, it's catnip. I mean, when I got to meet Molly Bloom for Molly's game, like I immediately was like, what exactly is she wearing? What color is she wearing? What perfume is she wearing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very good at finding clues.
Do you think people know when you're talking to them that you're observing them more than a normal person would in a conversation? Or do you think you're good at
Yes.
hiding?
No, here's the thing. They show up knowing I'm going to observe
Yeah,
them.
that's good.
So
Yeah.
there's two truths I have to find out. They show up, like usually what they're wearing, they're telling me a story
Right.
by wearing something that they're wearing. And I think like, okay, so this is what you want me to play, but now I got to figure out what is the truth beyond, you know, what you're sharing.
And I imagine, too, the first half hour of the interaction, they probably are just, you know, they're not being authentic. They're trying to be the version they think is authentic so that you will play that. And you
Yeah.
probably have to.
I mean, I did a movie called The Good Nurse, and with Eddie Redmayne, and he's so great. And it's about this woman. She's did this incredible thing, and she helped catch Charlie Cullen, who was killing people. And when I first was talking to her on the phone, she kept telling me about how sexy she was. I've never said this actually in press. She just kept saying like, "Oh, I was so hot," and da 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 da. And I'm like, and I told the director, he's like, "You're not going to be wearing all this makeup in the movie." But
Dude,
yeah.
when this show first started, we would always call the guests, and I'd be like, just so you know, I'm really hot. Don't be.
person.
When you come out, like, just know. It's like jarring. And then my producers are like, I think we don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. So I get it. Hey, thanks so much for being here. It's
Oh my
such
God,
a
so
delight to
happy.
see you. Jessica Chastain, everybody, The Savant premieres September 26th on Apple TV+. We'll be right back with Lily.